Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I will be reviewing this PowerQueen 30 amp MPPT Solar Charge Controller with a Bluetooth adapter. I'm going to unbox it, I'm going to do some basic testing, I'm going to hook it into my 12 volt DIY solar generator I built in another video, and I'm going to do a little real world testing with that solar generator, including this controller, by running a deep freezer. Oh, be sure to stick around to the end for a really good Black Friday price on this controller and some other deals from PowerQueen. Before we get started, I'd like to thank PowerQueen for sending me this unit to review. In no way does that affect my review of this product. If I find problems, I'll tell you about it. If I like it, I'll tell you that. If I don't like it, I'll mention that also. So this is the PowerQueen 30 amp MPPT Solar Charge Controller. This box comes with the Bluetooth adapter, so you can use their mobile app. But they also have a version of this for cheaper that does not have the Bluetooth adapter if you didn't care about the app, the mobile app, to use it through that. So let's take a look what's inside. So we have owner's manuals here for the controller itself and the Bluetooth adapter. So PowerQueen's known for high quality batteries at a low cost. I have some, I've been using them for months and they work perfectly. Also, I have found that their owner's manuals are very good. So I expect this one will also be very good. There's good information in here. It says, do not use this sensor when charging the lithium battery. This is a temperature sensor, and you should not use it. You should not use it with lead acid. Mounting instructions. There's some equipment it looks like it comes with for that. We'll go through that in a second. Some detailed specifications of this unit, how to install it. And if you're not used to using these, installing these type of things, it goes through some very good details over how to do it, how to operate it. It's got all the good stuff in there, so good manuals. And then the Bluetooth adapter, looks like it talks about, well, you just basically plug this in, so there's not much to installing it. And I guess you'd mount it to something. And then the mobile app, looks like it's called Solar App. You download, and we'll be taking a look at that as well. I like their manuals. So we have here heat shrink tubing. Okay, there's some heat shrink tubing, mounting brackets, bolts and screws. Looks like, what's this called here? This says it's copper connectors for drywall mounting. I guess this is kind of like a ferrule, I guess. Let's see what else we got here. We got their temperature sensor, which we won't be using since we don't have lead acid. We have lithium iron phosphate. And this is a Bluetooth adapter. We'll be opening that up and plugging that in here shortly. Let's pull out the unit. See something on the bottom here. Here is a installation mounting template. That's nice. That'll make it easier if you want to mount it that way for vertical mounting. So let's see here. We have, here's the unit itself. It's kind of a soft touch to it. Here's a nice heat sink on the bottom. It's like powder coated aluminum. Looks like this thing is kind of meant to have some screws that you slide this over and then snap it into place vertically. And I'm assuming the mounting brackets are for if you wanted to do a permanent installation where you'd screw it in and you can't slide it off like that. All right, so let's see here. So we have a little LCD screen, which we'll be going through later, buttons to navigate that. And some specifications listed right on here is the model number. This is for 12 volt or 24 volt systems. If you have a 12 volt system, you have max solar input of 400 watts. 24 volt system, max input of 800. Let's see, 100 volt max input into the unit. If you go over that, you could burn it up or destroy it. This is a 30 amp controller. There's a little load output here that you can like send to a light or a fan or something. And I think it goes at 20 amps max. Or here's the wattage right here, max load power 240 or 480 for 24 volt, 240 for 12 volt. And let's see. So we have the temperature sensor port, which we won't be using. We have PV input, battery output, to charge the battery, and the load output I mentioned, which I don't usually use, and then here's where you hook your temperature sensor into. So it's a nice looking unit. Here are the specifications if you'd like to pause the video and take a look. Okay, so now I'll do some basic testing. So let me just show you what I've got hooked up real quick. So the first thing I did was I hooked up the battery to the battery terminals. That's important you do that first before you hit you put any solar into it. Some controllers, it doesn't matter, but most of them do. So always do that as just a rule of thumb. Always hook up your battery first. Then I hooked up, this is a variable voltage charger. I'm using it to simulate solar input. Now later I'm going to do a real world test with real solar input, but for now I'm just going to do this test. And for testing the load outputs, I have this battery capacity tester that I'll be running just to show the load going out. So first things first, I'm going to check that this is accurate. So it's showing 13.8 volts on the battery. So this is kind of hard to do and show you all at the same time here. So let me see if I can test this. I'll hit the hold button. That's what I'll do. Let me see. Let me get this. Okay, so it's showing 13.78 and 13.8 on here. So this has one less digit of precision, so that looks like a good test. It's showing accurate battery voltage. Now the second thing I want to do is I want to figure out how many volts does the solar input need to be before the charge controller recognizes it and starts charging the battery. So let me turn this to solar input. So there's a solar input voltage, which is 0. There's a solar charging the battery. How many amps is charging the battery? So let me turn this up. Hope I don't get too much in the way here, but I think it's going to be around 15 to 16 before this starts charging. So first thing will happen is this light will turn on, and then it's going to start charging the battery. So let's see how many volts we have to go up to. We're up to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, so we're getting close. Still off. Oh, it just turned on. Oh, and it went off. So I think it needs to be a little above this, so around 16 volts. And as you can see, we're charging the battery, 2.7 amps. It's showing 2.6. So just under 16 volts it'll charge. So that's what I wanted to know. And if I start turning this down, this light should go off, and that should stop charging the battery. So we dropped down to 13. It's still on, but we've stopped charging. But that light's on. Let's see if I keep going down. Okay, the light's off now. So just under 16. Might as well just round up and say 16 volts is what this needs to start charging the battery. Now the next thing I want to test is the load output. I can't get up to 20 amps. It's thinking go up to 20 amps or 240 volts on 12 volts here. So I've got this battery capacity tester kind of stuck in these terminals here for the load output. So let's turn it up a little bit and get it. It's not on. So let me turn this back down. So to turn this on, I need to go down to the load icon, which shows a little light bulb, and this little light bulb will need to turn on. So you do that. You can do it with the app, but let's do it manually first. So I'll turn it on. The light turned on, so now we're providing load to this terminal. So this should work now. Let me turn this up. Okay, it's working. As you see, I'm pulling 5.44 amps out of the load into this battery capacity tester. And I'll just crank it on up until this thing can only go to 185 watts, so it can't reach the 240, but that's okay for this test. I'm gonna play around a little bit later with the light and the fan on this load here. Let's crank it up. We're probably about to hit, and there we go. We hit the 185. You turn this all the way down, stop the beeping. Okay, so we've tested the load output. That is working. I just can't get it up to 240 right now. I believe there's a protection in here to protect it from going over that. One thing I just want to show you real quick is a common thing that people do sometimes with this load output is they hook a light to it. You can program this unit to turn on the load output whenever It's nighttime, there's no solar coming in, or the opposite, daytime when the solar's coming in. And you can maybe hook a little small wattage fan to it for during the day, for maybe cooling off the little container or the unit that this is housed in. So just to demonstrate a real basic demonstration here, I'll just turn it to load output. I'll turn the load output on, and the light comes on. You can also do this in the mobile app, turn it off manually on, and you can program it for, like I said, different ways to program it. I'll show you that. So I've got everything plugged in. I've plugged in the Bluetooth adapter, which has a nice long cable if you wanted to run it up maybe to expand your coverage. So tomorrow morning when there's some sun, it's supposed to be mostly sunny day tomorrow. I'm gonna plug in. I'm gonna turn everything on. Have this powered. I'm gonna plug in the solar input. I have 400 watts, 200 panels, 2 panels total of 400 watts outside waiting, which is actually the maximum while this thing is running at 12 volt. And then we'll plug in the deep freeze, and we'll have all this running and working, real world situation, and I'll show you the mobile app and go through it and some of the features. Okay, so it's the next day. The sun is out, really good solar conditions. I have hooked up the solar to those two 200 watt panels for a total of 400 watts, but I have the breaker turned off. There's no power going to the solar charge controller at the moment. I have here the power cord to the deep freeze that I'll plug in a minute. Okay, let's start turning things on here. I turned on the battery. We're now getting power here to the battery shunt and monitor. And here on the solar charge controller, we're showing 13.3 volts. The battery monitor here, 13.28. So if you round up, that's good. So let's turn on the solar now. And the light should turn on. This top button turned on just now. So we are getting solar. Let's switch to the thing here. So, okay, from solar panel, we're getting 30.1 volts currently. We're charging the batteries at 19 amps. All right, let's plug in let's turn on the inverter. Okay, so the inverter's now running. Let's plug in the deep freeze. And the inverter's now showing 360 watts it's drawing. 100, and now it's dropped back down to 0 because it's good and cold currently. And the battery showing we're charging at 13 point. I'm sorry, that's the battery voltage, 13.48 voltage. The Bluetooth adapter's in. I think we're ready to take a look at the mobile app. Okay, now I want to show you about the mobile app. Sun is out, we're up and charging and running. So let me show you here. So this is the solar app, as you see down below. And I've already downloaded it. And this is the Android device here, same for Apple. Let's open it. I've already opened it once before and added this device, but to add a device, you just click the little plus in the top right and then select the device. And no need to create an account or anything. It just shows up here and you could immediately start using it. So let's click it. This is the real-time data screen, monitoring screen. As you see, we got 95 watts coming in right now. It's in MPPT charge mode as opposed to boost and float. And the voltage coming in is 36.6, 2.73 amps current, 98 watts. The battery is being charged at 7.07 amps, around 7 amps, 13.5 voltage on the battery now, 25 degrees Celsius temperature. And then, of course, we have the load on and off down here, same as when you press the button on the charge controller itself. If you hit load, like I just did, I know you can't see this, but the light will come on. Did I hit it? Oh, it's probably because of a setting I'll fix that in a second. So let's go to history. So what this shows you is it's not really been running for 4 running days. I've just kind of tested it just briefly, starting 4 days ago, so it shows 4 running days. Power generation, it shows some information here. You can look at this as a list or chart. I prefer the chart. to the right of the chart, there's a little sharing icon. If you click that, you can actually share a screenshot of this screen with recent contacts, like messages and things. And that little icon to the right of that, which looks like almost like a little broom, maybe it's a garbage can, but that will clear all the data, and I don't want to do that now. So if you see down below that, we have the battery, and for today, we have, let's see here. Yeah, okay, it looks like maybe a little bug there. So for the battery, the max voltage is 13.9. The minimum voltage is 13.3. If we look at the charge, as you can see, we've had a max current of 23.75. So the max this thing is capable of is 30 amps. So we've charged 0.356 kilowatt hours today so far. Probably getting close to filling this battery up since it's about half full. Discharge, I don't really understand. I've never really understood the discharge screen. Maybe that's what comes out of the load. I'm not sure. Let's see. So basic info tab at the top. Device name, serial number, so forth. You can check for firmware updates here. If we click the little gear icon in the top right, this is where you can set your parameters. So I had previously set this at 12 volts and lithium iron phosphate. And if we click that, you can see we can do user defined or these other battery types you can select. Of course, we have lithium iron phosphate. That's what I selected. Charger settings, these are the default for lithium iron phosphate. You can tweak some of these parameters like the boost charge. You can tweak this if you need to, but I just left it for the defaults. Down at the very bottom, if you see load settings, that's your load output settings. So yeah, I had it light control. So since I've set it to light control, I can no longer manually turn it on and off. That's the reason it didn't work when I was clicking it. So if I set it to manual, and then I go back to real time, and turn on the load. Okay, the light just came on, and of course you can't see the light, but the light came on and the load is turned on. So you can manually control it like that when it's in manual mode. So let's go back to the load settings, and I'll explain what these are. Okay, so light control is that when there is power coming in from the solar panels, it will turn on the load. And if we back up a screen after we choose that, we can control that here with these minutes, how long before it turns on. So after the solar power goes out, I may have said that wrong. So after there's no more solar power coming in and you have light control set, the light control delay means it'll run for 5 minutes. And you can apparently set the voltage too. So if we go back in the setting, and if you want further the light to be on longer, you can select that. This means it says delay, but it really means the light will be on for 1 hour. So the power stops coming in from the solar panels and you want to run the light for 1 hour, that's what you set it to. And you can go up to 14 hours. Manual mode is what I described earlier. I have to turn it on and off manually. Debug mode, there's no delay, there's no light, it's just on. It's on when the power's coming in. I mean, not coming in. When there's no solar charge coming in, the light turns on. And I can imagine right at dusk and dawn when the power, the voltage may be coming on and on, it may be the light may be flickering until I don't know that, but I'm guessing it may happen. And normal on mode just means it's on 24 hours a day. So I want this set as manual, so that's what I'm going to do. And you can save these settings with a name, and you can also, I guess, select the folder they go into. And that's about it on this mobile app. That covers pretty much everything here. So I've showed you the mobile app, and I'm just going to leave this running today. And tomorrow's supposed to be cloudy, so I'm not sure I will run this more than just today. But we're powering the deep freeze today. We'll make sure that keeps powered. Here's the battery monitor. I don't know if you can see that. Battery's being charged currently at 19.87 amps from the charge controller. And we'll check back later and see how it's going. Okay, so I ended up letting this run one more day. It's the next day now, and I ended up unplugging the deep freeze and turning off the inverter. I wanted to see the controller bring the battery all the way to a full 100%, which it has. And the controller is actually running in boost mode right now. I never saw it get to float, if it even does. According to the manual, it does, but I never caught it if it did. And that looks like a wrap for this test. So what do I think about this controller? My overall opinion is that this Power Queen 30 amp solar charge controller with Bluetooth is a solid controller. It did what it was supposed to do. It charged my battery. It never got hot. I believe the highest I saw was 33 degrees Celsius, 91 Fahrenheit. One of my other controllers gets extremely hot. The Bluetooth coverage was good, better than one of my other controllers. I highly recommend it based on what I've seen in my testing. I did note some things worth mentioning and one minor issue. There is no built-in Bluetooth. You have a separate Bluetooth adapter, and for some that might be an issue. For me, it wasn't. I actually liked it because I took the cable and actually ran it up high and got a little bit more distance and coverage where I sit at night in my recliner. I could actually connect to it, so that was good. For some, that may be an issue. Power Queen does not offer this charge control in other amperages, and you know, most controllers come in like 30, 40, and 60. It'd be really nice if they had a 40 amp and a 60 amp version of this. One issue I did find was a bug in the mobile app. In the history screen, it showed some incorrect dates and values. I was able to kind of click around and get it to work, but I did report that to them, and they said that they would fix it. And I did notice that the mobile app was updated like 6 weeks ago, so they seem to be maintaining it and releasing bug fixes. So I would assume they would get that fixed shortly. If you happen to be watching this video before Black Friday 2023, Power Queen is having an amazing Black Friday sale until November 24th. You can pick up this 30 amp MPPT Solar Charge Controller with Bluetooth for only $76.79. That's an excellent deal. And it comes with free shipping if you live in the US. If you don't care about the mobile app, you can get this same controller without the Bluetooth for $61.43. That's just excellent deal. You can also get these Power Queen 100 amp 12 volt batteries for only $220.79. That's $220.79. I paid just under $300 for them when I bought those. They have many other ways to save also. If you're in the market for any of the products that Power Queen makes, I highly recommend checking out their Black Friday deals to see if it's something you're interested in. If the Black Friday deals are over when you watch this, I'll put a coupon code below in the description, which will save you 3% off of everything Power Queen has. If you enjoyed this review of the Solar Charge Controller, I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, it really goes a long way to help out the channel. Thanks for watching.